Yo,
Josh and Esau back once again with another biblical case study. As you can tell from the title, we are covering Jacob and Esau today.
Twins. The twin in them.
The twin boys.
Of
Isaac
and
and
Rebecca. If you did not catch the previous case study, it was on their padres, their parents. Padres is, right? I shouldn't even be trying to speak in that.
Yeah, no, that's two dads.
No, it's always the. I don't have time.
Madre.
I don't know.
Madre's mother.
But when you're
Padres.
saying you're grouping them,
This ain't even our language to even discuss.
okay,
Yeah.
the parents.
The
of them,
parents.
they were previous.
We discussed the parents,
Yeah.
and we discussed every relationship up until this relationship
Literally.
through Genesis. From
Yeah.
Adam and Eve,
Yep.
Noah and the fam,
Yep.
Jacob and Esau, Cain and Abel.
He jumped around a little bit.
I
but
jumped.
You
But-
can see in the playlist order, that's the
You'll see
order
a
that
place.
we've
You
done.
can start
these
from the
in.
beginning. We recommend you start from the beginning because
So
you
this will
might
make
miss.
sense.
Yeah,
As things are starting to build out, you're going to want it to make sense.
it gets deep,
Yeah.
and it would just behoove you to start from the beginning and work
Yeah,
your way
yeah.
out. But either way, here we are. If you have your Bibles, we're going to be doing a lot of reading today. We're starting at chapter 25, and we're working
Where, baby?
in Genesis.
Where is it at?
There's no room for it. It's all right. Genesis, we're starting at Genesis 25, and we're working our way all the way through about Genesis 33. Now, we're doing some hop, skipping, and jumping because there's another set of stories that we'll talk about in next week's biblical case study regarding Jacob and his two wives.
Catch it.
Catch it.
2.
Esau had
T.
3 wives.
T. But, okay, let's get into this. There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. So, starting with our first section, we're going to talk about the two nations.
Let's just go, bro.
Yeah.
You reveal that.
It's the name of the title. She hates when I give away early information. But the title is Two Nations. Let's talk about it. I have the ESV version. For those who don't know, if you're new to this, not true to this, I have the ESV version. She has the NIV version. We usually hop back and forth, so you get a taste of both of the versions. Also, someone asked in the comment section, what version of the Bible should they read? And my best response to that is the one that you'll actually read. It could be NIV, ESV, NLK.
Maybe you like King James.
Maybe you like King James.
The how thou
Whichever one you are
shaketh.
willing to pick up
Yeah.
and read,
Yeah.
that's the one you should get.
Yeah.
And then once you get, your feet wet and you're very interested and you want to hear other versions, go ahead and pick up another
But what
version.
would you say is a beginner version?
I would say NIV is the most American friendly.
Oh.
Like it just makes it like real breakdownable. Like
Yeah.
you can take it. It's easy to
The
digest.
Jesus Bible in particular that he bought me is a solid choice.
Yeah.
I love the summaries that it gives.
I personally like the ESV because it's like a very English translation of. It's like King James without all the thous, thus, and thises. Okay, it's basically just Hebrew to English. That one kind of paraphrases to make it.
Americanizes it.
Yeah, it makes it real easy and palatable. But both have their pros and cons.
Okay.
Anyways, let's start out with chapter 25, verse 19 through 28. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
I'll go.
You'll go. Let's do it.
All right. Chapter 25, verse 19, Jacob and Esau. This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Isaac. If you have been in this series with us, you know that Abraham, we spent like 3 biblical case studies on him. He is Isaac's father, but Jacob's grandfather. So just hold on to that. All right, Abraham
He's
said
both their grandfathers.
Right. Facts. They're twins. Abraham became the father of Isaac, their dad. And Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebecca, their mom. Daughter of, this is that part again.
Bethel.
The
Aramean of Padan Aram.
Yeah.
Padan Aram.
Here you go.
Padan Aram.
Padan
Aram.
We got to get through this.
Okay, come on.
Padan Aram, and sister of Laban, the Aramean.
Araman.
Okay.
I'm
sorry. I don't mean to. I really don't understand
You got the
entirely
giggles
how to
tonight, y'all.
pronounce.
She's a little loopy. It's a little late.
You over here playing too. Talk about she. All right, verse 21. All seriousness now. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was childless. The Lord answered his prayer, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. 22. The babies jostled each other within her, and she said, "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of the Lord. Pause. Just want to pause there real quick, because when I was reading this again recently this week, I decided to look up what is jostled, because it's not what I thought it was. Jostled is to push, elbow, or bump against roughly, struggle or compete forcefully. Reiterating that these two was bumping and grinding and throwing blows in the womb, they mama womb, which is why she was concerned. Like, what's happening? And why are you looking at me like that?
It was just funny. You said they were bumping and grinding. I'm like, it's just been so. It's been so.
They literally said bumping, elbow,
They were
push.
fighting. So these two were at odds even before they were even born, which is actually kind of a revelation all itself, because God had assignments
For them both.
God knew before they were even born what was finna go down.
Absolutely.
It's very interesting, especially after the Lord's gonna say what this is all about.
What it is, what's going on. I also did want to point out, though, how Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife,
Now
of his spouse.
This is the second man to pray on behalf of his wife.
Facts.
Abraham prayed for his wife's womb to be open. Isaac prayed for his wife's womb to be open. This will make more sense later, but just keep that note.
The Lord answered.
The Lord answered.
All right, so verse 23. The Lord said to her, 2 nations
Hence the title.
are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. So they named him Esau. After this, his brother came out, with his hand grasping Esau's heel, jostled. Okay, from the very end to the very end. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them. I thought that was interesting too, because in verse 20 it tells us Isaac was 40 when he got married and 60 when they came 20 years later.
Yeah.
She gave birth.
Yeah. Had to wait.
Man.
That patience plays a big role, because God's timing is different than our timing.
So different.
Drastically different. Like the way that we be sprinting from thing to thing, I'm sure God is like, slow down. Get a revelation on Friday, you trying to enact it on Saturday. Like, whoa.
That'd be me so much.
Whoa. Have a little discernment and patience and forbearance there. Like, slow it down.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why God doesn't give out revelations like hotcakes anymore. Because, we're a hyper-ambitious generation. So, the second God gives a revelation, I'm off. Going with it. Like, whoa.
Relax.
This is a life calling, not
right.
not a week
Season.
calling.
Yeah.
If you microwave it, it's not going to be delicious.
Ooh.
Put it in the oven. Okay? Put it in the crock pot. Come back tomorrow. Let it cook.
You over here cooking.
You know
over here
I'm
cooking.
so hungry right now.
Let's go, bro. Okay, where am I reading up to? Okay, let me finish.
Yeah, finish the last 2 verses.
Okay. The boys grew up. Verse 27, the boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home among the tents. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. They had favorites. The parents had favorites.
Dad's favorite, because Esau was what's considered to be a man's man. He's out here hunting.
Right.
Jacob, he's a mama's boy. He's in the tents.
He eating good.
He though.
Learning all the tea.
Yeah.
He in there. He content there.
He's playing this game.
Chess. Yeah, he on some
Someone's
chess.
playing up top, the other one's playing bronze and brains.
Good point out.
Very interesting, though. Jacob, for those who don't know, Jacob means he takes by the heel.
Right.
Takes by the heel in this day and age means to finesse,
Yeah, he deceives.
deceive, or cheat. When you take somebody by the heel, you have played them. Funny because we've already seen finesse happen.
Right.
Finesse is running in the blood. Finesse and finesse. Kind of crazy.
Is it in human nature to finesse?
I think it's in sinful nature to finesse.
Okay.
Because a finesse is technically a deception.
Right.
And I don't think we're made to be deceptive. I
Okay.
don't think that was a part of God's original plan. I think
Yeah.
it was a part of the serpent's original plan.
Absolutely. And he did it.
Very deceptive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. So 2 nations. We got the background story of why there is going to be
Yeah.
2 peoples that come out of her womb.
Yeah. And now Jacob lives up to his name in the very next section.
Right.
So let's talk about this stew.
Yeah, man.
Chapter 25, verse 29 and 34. I'm going to just read the whole thing and then we can kind of go into it. So this is where Esau sells his birthright. It's the title. It's the title. It's the title.
You gotta stop.
I'm sorry, it's the title. Verse 29. Once, when Jacob was cooking stew, Esau came in from the field and he was exhausted. And Esau said to Jacob, "Let me eat some of that red stew, for I am exhausted." Therefore his name was called Edom, which also means red. Jacob said, "Sell me your birthright now." Esau said, "I'm about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me?" Jacob said, "Swear to me now." So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and he ate and drank and rose and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting because there's a couple of things that stick out to me here. For one, Esau doesn't value his birthright
Yes.
at all.
Yes. I looked that up actually. I wanted to know exactly what that meant, that he despised it.
Yeah.
And what came up was he prioritized temporary needs over long-term privilege.
Yeah, and let's go into that because I actually have I did a Google search myself on what came with the birthright. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so some of the things that came included with the birthright were inheritance. So Esau would have received double the portion of his father's estate. Leadership, he would have became the head of the family, making decisions and managing affairs. He would have had authority, which means he would have just had more authority than responsibility than Jacob.
Okay.
And then the priestly position of the home. He would have been the family priest. Not only that, the blessing of Abraham and Isaac would have fallen upon him, but he wasn't thinking about any of that. So immediately upon selling the birthright, he essentially sold the blessing of Abraham and Isaac, which was much more valuable
Much more than food.
than food. Man
Temporary.
liveth not off bread alone.
Yeah.
Now, here's another great part. Jacob caught him when he was exhausted,
Right. Weak at his lowest.
weak, desperate.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfectly timed plan. But that's when the devil gives you something that,
Stop. That red stew.
yeah, that's when he gives you the lentil stew.
That-
That didn't even have no meat in it. Lentil stew. Wasn't even a lick of meat.
Man.
But he was desperate.
Right.
And he was caught off guard.
Desperate measures, desperate
And
decisions.
he believed he was going to die. Was that the truth?
No.
Mental games. Sometimes we start putting ourselves in like life or death situations that aren't life or death.
Yeah. Or we allow our bodies to be our masters instead of ruling over it.
Or we allow our fear and anxiety to master us as well. Very vulnerable point.
Yep.
Jacob, being the mental game, capitalizes
He did.
on his weakness.
He did. Dang, bro.
He's thinking very carnally while Jacob's thinking strategically. He's like, this is deeper than this. I know. It's bigger than this stew. Crazy, right?
Very. Very.
But yeah, I feel like that happens a lot of the time. Like getting caught up. I know I've personally in my life set myself up for stew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like trying to take the easy road out. Like when things go dark or you get caught up in that waiting period, sort of like like Isaac and Abraham. The devil comes along like, I see, man, you're down on your luck.
Let me help you out here.
I know it feels like the walls are caving in. I got a quick fix for you. Sell some drugs.
Oh, Josh.
I'm serious.
I know you are. I just did not think that was your example. Yeah.
But the
for real.
sad part is that's a reality
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do something illegal. Go take it. Go steal. You ain't got it? Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? It's quick. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Before you know it, you've created more hell for your life than your previous situation.
Yeah.
Because you settled for stew.
You know what's crazy too? Although Esau was a man of the country, he still had the same exact capabilities as Jacob. Would have took him longer, but he could have kept his birthright and fixed his own food.
Yeah. Also, wow, shot Holy Spirit. If he didn't have food, that means he had just came off a failure. He didn't make no hunt. He's fresh off a failure. He's exhausted. And he about to die? He's at his lowest.
Low.
He's at his lowest.
Dang, that's a really good point.
He didn't come back with no game?
Right. Because he wouldn't need,
Wouldn't need food if you had game, right?
them animals was giving him a run for his money. He couldn't catch nothing.
Not nothing. Sad.
It'd be like that though. Not every day is a win.
Yeah. You're not finna catch them all days.
Yeah.
And this was, like I'm telling you, caught him on his lowest days. But you know what's funny? It's odd because Jacob caught him at his lowest, but God caught me at my lowest. I think I had two paths to choose when I was at my lowest. I could have settled for stew, but I decided to lean on the promises of God.
I think every once in a while you picked up that spoon.
I picked up the stew.
Okay.
There was times, but like what I'm talking about, like
I feel
when
like
I
God
was,
smacked it out your hand.
yeah, no, I think there was times where like, yeah, I definitely did pick up stew, but I mean like that wasn't even my lowest when I picked up stew.
Right.
That was my perceived lowest. When I was at my absolute lowest, I think God placed me at my lowest. It was like, now you see, stew ain't gonna cut it. Weird, right?
So when you say stew though, were you like considering that as like academics? What was that version of stew during that time that you're referring to?
Stew at the time was probably taking the easy route for everything.
Okay.
How can I say stew? Well, unfortunately, selling drugs was a very accurate.
What's a form of stew?
Was an accurate stew analogy. Even in like, I guess the entrepreneurial part of my life, stew is settling for just doing what's absolutely necessary, rather than doing the due diligence of doing the whole planning. Like I never did my due diligence with planning up until like this past like 5-6 months. Like that due diligence is a form of prepping a bigger meal. Stew is like a quick meal. It's like, man, I'm just trying to get to this quick.
I like you said the microwave instead of the oven. It's easy. Or even sometimes the oven baked meals are easy compared to having to chop up all the vegetables, chop up all, wash the meat, XYZ. Like,
Fast
but
food
the
and TV
meals be
dinners.
different and be hitting different.
Yeah, they lack nutrients. Most times
Yeah.
the microwave TV dinners don't have sustaining nutrients. But the long way is usually the right way. And sometimes good, well, not sometimes. Most times, great things take a long time unless God gives you just provision and overflow off rip.
But I think like when you look at your life in hindsight, which we don't have the opportunity to at this moment, it'll seem shorter than what it is right now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Time flies once you're there.
Right.
Hey, we're pushing up on 10 years. Man, feels like the time flew.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years, though.
It has been 10 years.
Yeah. We're about to make 10 years.
Okay. Good example.
Yeah.
I feel like we could dwell on stew more, but it's so much more we have to get to. We're going to keep it pushing.
I guess a good question is like, let us know a stew moment of your life.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really good thing you can leave in the comment section if you guys want to contribute to the conversation, both here and on Patreon.
Oh, yeah, we have the group chat on Patreon. And just to summarize again so they can understand how to answer that, what is stew in a short summary?
Stew is like a shortcut to a blessing that God has promised you.
Okay.
God has a calling over your life. You try and circumvent his provisions and do it yourself.
Okay. Cool. Now we're on to the bitter in-laws.
Oof.
Please flip your pages to chapter 26, verse 34. It's real quick, real short, real sweet because...
Oh, yeah. What happened in between was between
Right.
Isaac, and we've already covered Isaac.
But the funny thing was, though, just to touch base, because y'all remember, if y'all been rocking with us, y'all know that his daddy pulled some stuff with his mama, Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah,
Okay. Isaac pulled the same mess, y'all.
he did.
So read chapter 26 if you're interested, but very much so like father, like son energy. Okay. 26, just a verse that we wanted to make sure we pointed out with the Jacob Esau story. Verse 34, when Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beri the Hittite. And also, I always say base math. What do you call her?
I don't know, but I'm sticking with base math.
Base math, daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah.
My version says they made life bitter.
All right, so they brought grief and bitterness to their parents. This is well, yeah, but it's still their parents.
Yeah.
But they were feeling a way towards him, Esau, the oldest son, because he's the one that brought these pagan Hittite women into their family, causing a lot of riffraff and drama.
Canaanites.
Yeah.
I mean Hittites, but I think the Hittites were a part of the land of Canaan. So.
I'm not positive on that.
Not
I just know they were
entirely
pagan.
positive. Yeah. Do know that.
We know that.
100% know they were pagan.
Lowercase g gods. They was doing all the things complete opposite of what Isaac and Rebekah stand for.
Yeah. Not serving the God of Isaac, the God of Abraham.
Yes.
Certainly not.
So, I think that we wanted to bring this up too because it plays a role in like real time, right? People getting married, people got in-laws, and like that. Something that we talk about often is how, and I think it's mentioned in our culture every once in a while, but it's kind of like skated on the surface of when you marry someone, you marry their family. Their family becomes yours.
Yeah.
And there's a certain mentality shift that's required because of that.
Yeah.
And I believe we touched on it a little bit in the last one, but just about how, like, regardless if you completely, like, align or feel in agreement with your in-law, there's always a level of respect that is required.
Yeah.
To honor your father and mother, right? That's a literal commandment. So I feel like when you became a part of my family, when we got married and I became a part of yours, that is now my father and mother, my parents, same for you. And it's like, we are to honor them.
Yeah.
And
I also think it was on him to honor his parents.
Right.
God.
Right. And he did not.
He didn't.
And his wives certainly did not.
Yeah.
But even that is a really good point out too, because it's like, based off how you set the tone with how you handle a situation or handle people, loved ones that you care about, that like paints a picture for people that you invite into your family or into your space that they can treat them the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an example, I know that when my brother in particular was younger, his friends, whenever they would be like cussing and stuff in the house, he would correct them. He's like, we don't do that in here. Because my mom wouldn't allow that.
Yeah.
But him not speaking up ahead of time, they would have just been cussing and letting words fly and whatnot, but like setting the tone.
Mm-hmm. Honoring thy mother and thy father.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the commandments for the beginner Bible enthusiasts, that's part of the 10 Commandments you'll learn about later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, honoring thy mother and thy father is more than just like giving them that like high five honor. It's in what you do, how you conduct yourself. You're a representation of your family.
Yes.
And he didn't, in this moment, represent his family well, especially because if you look at the background stories of how Abraham chose the wife of Isaac, he said, we're going to marry within the family.
Yeah, to keep
Incest was a thing back in the day, but it's keeping it pure, keeping the bloodline pure and keeping things separate, especially because God has bestowed a great
favor over the
He's
family.
bestowed a great favor, but he's also placed a great responsibility that generations are coming from you, and a future seed is coming from you.
Right.
And like if they travel off the path, they forget the God who promised all of this favor over them, and then before you know it, God's favor just dissipates. And again, I don't want to give too much further down the line, but you'll see that later.
Yep.
But yeah, very interesting.
You don't want to grieve, or what was your word? Bitter.
Yeah, you don't want a bitter parent.
Yeah, you don't want to do that to the in-laws.
Especially mother-in-law.
Don't do it.
Especially the mother-in-law. Keep that in mind.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so
Moving on to Jacob's dream.
let's go to Jacob.
No, sorry.
No.
Stolen blessings.
Stolen blessings.
Sorry.
So Jacob's round 2. Jacob is really living up to his name.
All right, chapter 27,
What-
1 to 46.
Yeah,
Go
27 verse 1 to 46. I'm coming from the ESV version. Try and do some stop and go here and see what we pick up.
Okay.
Verse 1. When Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau, his older son, and said to him, "My son." And he answered, "Here I am." He said, "Behold, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and prepare for me delicious food, such as I love, and bring it to me, so that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die." I just want to pause right there. A chapter ago, Jacob just finessed Esau with food.
Right. And keep in mind, in verse 28 of chapter 25, it said Isaac had a taste for wild game. Okay? He liked food too.
They like food.
Yeah.
Food is kryptonite. But also this brings back to remembrance, just in this moment, again, good shot, Holy Spirit, Abraham's servant, saying, "I won't eat until I finish what needs to be done." The food can't distract me from what needs to be done. Food distracted, Esau got his birthright, took.
Do you think, but the food, his dad asked it though.
His dad asked for food, but guess how Jacob slips in.
Well, come on. We didn't get there yet. Don't do that, man.
All right. Verse 5. Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to his son Esau. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for game and bring it, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "I heard your father speak to your brother Esau. Bring me game and prepare for me delicious food, that I may eat it and bless you before the Lord before I die. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice as I command you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 good young goats, so that I may prepare from them delicious food."
Pause. I didn't even peep until you just read it like that. Go to the flock. Did Esau not go? Like, he was like, "How did you prepare it so fast?" They took the goats from their family farm
Yeah.
instead of him going out to hunt it.
He ain't go out and hunt nothing. He's a homegrown boy. He ain't no hunter. You didn't know that?
I knew that, but I just didn't realize that, like, they tapped into their soul. Like, what is the word I'm fishing for?
They tapped into the home supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to the inventory. They just said, "Just grab 2 goats. I'll prepare the food."
But Esau went to go get, like,
Yeah, he went to go hunt it.
wow.
Man,
They cut corners.
Stew number 2.
Whoa. Please continue.
That's what I'm saying. Food is the kryptonite. Food has been the key backdoor to like all yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. Where was I at? I'll just go to verse 9. Go to the flock and bring me 2 good young goats, so that I may prepare from them delicious food for your father, such as he loves. And you shall, lost my spot, you shall bring it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before he dies. The food is why he blessed him. And the food is why my man's lost his birthright. Really, it was the food that got Eve.
Come on, bro. Keep finishing. This is a big chapter.
The food. But Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, "Behold, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I'm a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be mocking him and bring a curse upon myself and not a blessing." His mother said to him, "Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go bring them to me."
Dang, I'm almost mad you even brought up Eve because I see it. Yeah,
You see
food
it.
was the deception, but even here,
Even a part of
you
the
see the
curse.
woman is going out of order.
Woman is trying to rule over man.
Oh shoot! Dang, man!
All these things were called from a long shot.
Wow.
Very interesting stuff, man.
Yes.
The delicious food is always crazy.
Yeah.
Food is a lot of kryptonite. It's gonna keep being kryptonite for a lot of people. I think this is why Jesus had to ice that. Man liveth not off bread alone. Let me go ahead and just clear the smoke on that one.
Mm-hmm.
You live off every word of the word of God.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
And this is why it's like when you fast, we're expected to be able to have self-control to step away from food.
Oh yeah, she's talking about Matthew 6 for reference. When Jesus says, "When you pray, don't pray aloud in the street corners for other people to see, and don't go on rambling with all your words for people to say, 'Ooh, how good of a prayer are you?'"
Right.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to go into a quiet place in secret where only your Father can find you. That's honestly in the chambers of your heart. But go inside yourself, say your prayer, God will hear you. Same thing with fasting. He says, when you fast,
Right.
not if you fast.
When you fast.
Meaning, it's implied that you're going to fast.
As a believer and follower of Christ. Yep.
It's a part of it. The same way he said, when you pray, is we all pray, right? Okay.
Well, I hope.
I hope
If you haven't, get started.
I would pray.
The
but
door
it
is
also
open.
says when you fast.
Yeah.
I think that's a regular part of getting closer to God because you're crucifying the flesh. Anyways, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time.
It just made me think of that though, because
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I
You know?
feel you. I definitely feel you. Verse 14. So he went and took them and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared delicious food. He ain't even prepare it,
he
yo.
ain't even prepared.
His
G.
mother did.
Yo,
Wow.
mama's boy for
Mama's
real.
boy, for real, bro. Such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her older son, that's crazy, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And the skins of the young goats she put on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck.
Them poor goats. They didn't know what was coming. They did not know.
And she put the delicious food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. So he went in to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Now sit up and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me." But Isaac said to his son, "How is it you have found it so quickly, my son?"
They
He
dipped into the inventory, Pops. They
He
went in the
answered,
inventory.
"Because Lord your God granted me access." Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come near that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob went near to Isaac his father, who felt him and said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. He said, "Are you really my son Esau?" He answered, "I am." Then he said, "Bring it near to me, that I may eat of my son's game and bless you." So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come near and kiss me, my son." So he came near and kissed him. And Isaac smelled the smell of his garments, and blessed him, and said, "See, the smell of my son is the smell of the field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's son bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you." Can we pause there for a second?
Man, please.
I think something that needs to be noted that will make more sense later is, for one, when Isaac said, "How did you find the game so fast?" Jacob replies, "Because the Lord your God granted me success."
Yeah.
It's slight, but if you're paying attention, that's an indication that God of Abraham and Isaac is not the God of Jacob in this moment. Neither one of these two were exempt from the religion of their parents or the God of their parents. It kind of reminds me because I was a PK, and as a young man,
You are still a PK.
I was still a PK. As a young man, I kind of like traveled off the beaten path. Like, okay, I hear y'all, but I got to figure this out for my own. You know what I'm saying? So I went my own way.
A whole new world.
Whole new world, college, life,
Yeah.
debauchery. Like, oh, you just want to experience things. Get out there, do your own thing, whatever. Cool. Obviously, God came and found me and pulled me out them raggedy streets. But you can see that Jacob hasn't had that moment yet. He's still saying, "The Lord your God."
Yeah, like him, the one that you
Your
serve.
God, the one you be talking to.
Yeah. He the one. He
the
helped
one-
me.
Yeah. He got my back.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And
Very.
there's also the very interesting echo of the blessing that Abraham got when he first received his blessing from the Lord. Right at the end at 29, cursed be everyone who curses you and blessed be everyone who blesses you. Yeah, that's a definite echo from the blessing that Abraham got from the Lord. Seems like they're passing that blessing down
Yeah.
to God's people. Now, again, this was all originally intended for Esau. Because I don't even know if Isaac knew that Jacob stole the birthright in the first place.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. Poor thing. He was already old, couldn't see,
Couldn't
didn't know
see.
nothing. And clearly Rebecca was moving like a
Ducking in.
snake, low key.
Move like a snake. Like a snake. Move like a snake.
Like a snake. She was though.
Whole family full of finessers.
Dang, gee.
Whole family full of finessers. And this is always so crazy. This is always so crazy because God can take something that the world deems bad
Right.
and turn this around into
Drop
something
that,
good.
flip it, and reverse it.
As this story plays out, we even see like God's transformational powers.
Yeah.
The potter reforming the clay.
Yes. I find it so profound too, right? Like as we read through these stories and the family lines continue to grow and expand, it's like, okay, well, God told Abraham to make sure that Isaac married someone within the family to stay pure, found Rebecca. So like, but he knew all of this was going to happen. That Rebecca was going to finesse, and that Jacob would be her favorite, and Esau would be Isaac's favorite. Like, and it's like even as Jacob sitting up here lying through his teeth to his father,
Lying.
it was like all a part of God's plan. That's crazy.
It's one of those things that I used to spend long nights trying to ponder until I finally just gave up and accepted that God and
His ways are
so much higher than our
higher.
ways. He exists outside of time,
Yeah.
can step into time as he
Man.
did when he came in the form of flesh as Jesus.
Yes.
But he can also be on his throne at the same time. It's very
We can't understand.
complex. We
Yeah,
can't
ever.
understand some things. And I think we as humans try and discredit God because we can't understand. 'Cause we like
Right.
to demonize the things we can't understand. But it's not for us to understand. That's why he God and we not.
Creator, creation.
What? Know your place. Know your place.
I do
Give
have
God
to
praise and
constantly
know your
remind
place.
myself of that.
Yeah, because we constantly
Humility.
we try and take the seat of judgment.
We
We try and be the
do.
judge.
Oh
we try
my
and be the
gosh.
dictator. We try and be the lords of our own lives.
Woo.
Like we
Steering in the
stay
wrong
try-
direction,
The devil
too.
got Eve and then got the rest of humanity on this same type of time,
My
bro.
God.
Everybody trying to be like God. Every single one of us trying to take that seat every once in a while, and God has to come and sit down like a good
Like
dad.
a good father. I was just gonna say like a good
Sit
father.
down. Just a big thundering. Like, my dad used to parent like that sometimes.
What?
Wouldn't leave his office. You just hear, "Hey!" Everybody stop moving. We had 4 kids in the house. I mean, we're mid-run. We hear, "Hey!" Everybody stop. That's that thunderous voice. When you hear God's voice, like you hear his voice, you like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I did something
you
wrong."
tremble.
what?"
Yeah,
My dad had a
man.
massive snap on him. Like I even like tried to perfect my snap because I want our kids to know my snap. I hear a snap from like I want to say 300 feet
The
away.
way
I
your
hear a
eyes are
snap.
so big, I know this is real life. Like
Real
you're
trauma.
going right back there.
Real trauma.
'Cause you knew what was coming with it.
He would have us sitting on the front row of church, and he'd be mid-sermon, catching the Holy Spirit, whatever, in mid-prayer, and like he'll see me and Alex and Melvin, whatever, like acting up with my mom trying to like get them together, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of a sermon, all of us I don't think anybody else knew, but my dad just commanding snap.
Man.
It was really impressive.
Yeah.
How militant he was without having to be so militant. Because like he wasn't on that all the time. We just knew when it was time to
You had
stop.
a respect.
Yeah.
For your
Healthy
father.
fear.
Healthy fear, bro.
Healthy fear. I think I was telling you about that.
What?
Like, I have an understanding of healthy fear kind of thanks to my father. In some ways, it was healthy. In other ways, I think I kind of had like a overzealous fear. But when my dad was angry, I was terrified. But when I was holding my dad's hand, I felt indestructible. Like if someone at church was doing anything that like felt weird, or like anytime I had a problem, I would run to my dad's office, grab his hand and bring him out there. And I just knew, I'm like, everything's good.
I'm with my dad.
I'm with my dad. I got his hand and he's on my side.
Yeah.
He's on my side. That's the kind of relationship I want to have with God. I don't want to be on the other side of it where I'm like, he's mad. Oh.
Yeah.
But like sometimes God disciplines.
He disciplines those he loves.
He loves.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good point, actually. Because I think that sometimes, like, the shame of a situation will cause us to, like, be fearful of him. We hide from him. Like, we don't. But he already sees how unclean and filthy we are. It's like we're not really hiding anything.
And you also have to understand that God is a perfect father. We haven't, like, as great as our fathers are, I don't think any of us have an example of a perfect father other than Christ.
But yeah.
Yeah, perfect parent other than Christ.
Yeah.
So, like, in some ways where you think, like, oh, my carnal dad would be mad at me. God's perfect love is like, it could be totally different. You might be thinking about this in the wrong frame of mind. He still loves you. He's still going to protect you. He's not going to demonize you. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
Right.
Whoever else believed in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. He came to the world not to condemn the world,
Right.
but to save it. So every time you have that condemnation feeling, that's the devil trying to sleep into your head, trying to tell you, yeah, you feel that? Yeah, God
He's
doesn't
mad at
love you.
you. Yeah,
you should just walk away from God.
Yeah, man.
You should walk away from your father. Let me be your father.
Oof. Let me comfort you with this stew.
With this worldly stew that will only last a day or two.
Well.
I don't know how we got off on that tangent.
But it's real, though.
That's real.
Wait, are we still in the...
Yeah, we're still in there. We got to keep it pushing.
Okay.
Got to keep it pushing, player.
Okay. But it's good point out. Good point out.
Okay, verse 30. As soon as Isaac finished blessing Jacob, when Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac.
Scary self, bro.
Scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac, his father, Esau, his brother, came in from hunting. He also prepared delicious food and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me. His father Isaac said to him, who are you? He answered, I'm your son, your firstborn son, Esau. Then Isaac trembled very violently and said, who was it that hunted game and brought it to me, and I ate all of it before you came? And I have blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed. As soon as Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with exceedingly great and bitter cry and said to his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. But he said, your brother came deceitfully, and he has taken away your blessing. Esau said, is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me 2 times.
Okay, so he did tell his daddy.
Yeah.
Finally.
He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. Then he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? Aww. Isaac answered and said to Esau, behold, I have made him lord over you. God. And all his brothers I have given to him for servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, my son? Aww. Esau said to his father, have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall your dwelling be, and away from the dew of heaven on high. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you go restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck.
I'm so interested in what that last part means. I know it's going to unveil itself, but like...
You don't know?
What do you take that as?
He said, when you grow restless, you shall break the yoke of his neck. So
Yeah.
basically, like when you're yoked, you're tied to his
Oh,
rule.
huh.
He's basically saying when you get tired of Jacob ruling over you, you gonna bust out that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Caught it.
Oh, I can also give you a little breakdown of that. My study Bible gave a really good breakdown. It says, although Jacob had been given authority over his twin brother, Isaac indicates that Esau will eventually free himself from his brother's control. Later, Esau's descendants settle outside of the Promised Land to the east of the Jordan River, eventually taking control of Seir, which is later called Edom,
Okay.
in honor of the red stew that deceived him. Okay, verse 41. Now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are approaching. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. That's real quick decision.
Once Dad's out of here,
Yeah,
I'm
it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yep.
But the word of Esau, her older son, but the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah.
Okay, pause.
Boom.
That caught me. Okay, only because verse 41, it says he said to himself,
I know.
the days of mourning for my father are near, then I will kill my brother. So who told Rebekah? Well, Rebekah was told.
This is why you gotta keep them. Well, in this case, it's kind of good that he didn't keep that to himself. Otherwise, he would have killed Jacob eventually. But I picture him like pacing around the room, just like hot. Like, you know what? That's it. That's it. Once Pop gone, it's over for this. Over for this ninja. I'm putting a rap on this boy Jacob. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times.
The peace sign is out.
No more peace signs.
So, okay, you saying like he probably was having like a tantrum type thing.
He's
Somebody
having a fit.
overheard.
Yeah, probably a servant or something like that was outside. You know them servants be nosy, bro.
Nosy.
Getting all the family
They
tea.
used to lurk, bro. Okay. I mean, shoot.
Yeah.
I was still shocked by that.
Yeah, that's very,
She
very
was
shocking.
told.
So she sent and called Jacob. Oh, this is verse 42. But the word of Esau, her older son, was told to Rebekah. So she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, behold, your brother Esau comforts himself about you by planning to kill you. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice. Here we go again. Arise, flee to Laban, my brother in Haran, and stay with him a while until your brother's fury turns away, until your brother's anger turns away from you and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereft of you both in one day?
Mine says, why should I lose you both in one day?
Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I loathe my life because of the Hittite women. If Jacob marries one of the Hittite women like these, one of the women of the land, what good will my life be to me?
You see how she used that little, I can't say that in this, that power though, that power us women
P-power.
have. That P-power,
PP.
she used it, bro.
Hey, what's actually crazy? This is prime
What?
manipulation.
Yeah.
Prime gaslight manipulation.
Yeah, it is.
Look at how she told Jacob the news.
Isaac's the husband.
No,
Jacob's
she
the
told
son.
Jacob, watch this. Until your brother's anger turns away from you and he forgets what you have done to him. You did it.
Oh.
I didn't do this. You did. You said, obey my voice. The curse is on me. And now you're going to flip it and say, he's mad at me. You need to tell him you did it.
So do you think Esau never knew his mama was playing him?
No.
That's bogus.
Bogus.
Wow.
Jacob, as a matter of fact, Esau said, your brother came deceitfully.
Right.
Didn't even mention Rebekah, his lovely wife.
Nope. Thought he came up with it all by himself.
This
Gave
is
him
a
too much credit.
This is a master Jacob plan. Little did he know. And that's why she still has favor in his eyes for the next finesse.
Woo!
Because he doesn't realize that she was in on it. So now she's still, her record's still clean. She's up for round number 2 finesse. She comes and says, man, I can't have him marrying a...
My life would be worthless if our other son marries a pagan woman.
Truth be told, she didn't like the Canaanite women in the first place, which is it's still a true statement. Like, she was still like being truthful.
Yeah.
And Isaac was still kind of like, yeah, they kind of made us a little bitter. We probably should keep it in the family line, especially because now I just blessed him.
Right.
He can't go marrying no Canaanite woman. I just gave him the blessing of the Lord.
Yikes.
Also crazy, though. Also crazy because Esau was still in line to get blessed, even though he did marry the Hittite women. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wonder how that would have played out.
I mean, he was the older son, so I feel like it was like just or due to him
it was his birthright.
Like Jacob snatched that. He snatched it all.
Yeah.
He snatched it all. Dang, G. Then gonna go to her husband. I can't take it. Meanwhile, it's like, Jacob, you need to get out of here. Your brother is going to off you.
He's going to off you for what you did. I looked at her
and
so
she
tired.
literally said, my son, chapter 27, verse 13, my son, let the curse fall on me.
Only obey my voice. Does this not give Genesis vibes? Ooh. Immediately she blames the snake.
Dang.
Like, no accountability here. Wow.
No accountability. None.
Wow.
None.
This is all you're doing.
He said, you need to get out of here.
No, you need to get out of here. This is the last time I need to obey your voice, Mom. All right? I'm old now.
I also think it's goofy, though, right? You think he's going to forget? You think he's going to forget? You took his birthright and his blessing for his life.
For my man's life.
You think he's going to forget?
Remember how you were saying, like, you can't take Abraham's blessing, it was on his life? My man's figured out a way to take the blessing on his life.
That's crazy.
Finessed a blessing. That's a different type of finesse. He didn't take your money, G.
Man.
He did take your goats. He used your goats against you. Crazy.
That's even worse because you're right. Esau got them goats. Oh, my gosh.
You took your goats and...
He took everything.
Bro, it's crazy. All right, let's move on, bro. Now that you stole the blessings, let's listen to Because Pop Told Me So.
That should have been the name of it.
She hates my titles. She hates my titles. All right, anyways, you want to read this 28, 1 through 9?
Yes, let's do it. All right, verse 1. So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him once again. Then he commanded him, do not marry a Canaanite woman. Go at once to
Padanaram.
to the house of your mother. I hate that you shake your hips with it. To the house of your mother's father, Bethel. Take a wife for yourself there, from among the daughters of, how do we say his name again? Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of peoples. May he give you and your descendants the blessing given to Abraham, so that you may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God gave to Abraham. Then Isaac sent Jacob on his way, and he went to
Padanaram.
To Laban, son of Bethuel. Stop it. Aramim, the brother of Rebekah, who was the mother of Jacob and Esau. So, I mean, if you read, or not read, well, yeah, you should have read.
If you read and
but
you
also watched, our previous biblical case study, Laban,
you see the cross-reference episode.
Yeah. I'm saying Raven. Laban, Rebekah's brother, which is their mom's brother, so their uncle, he played a big role in Isaac and Rebekah's story, their parents getting together. So her sending him there, it stands out more why he was mentioned so much during their parents' situation.
During the arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Of Isaac and Rebekah.
Yeah.
Laban is pretty much the one that handed over Rebekah.
Right. Okay, so let me continue. Verse 6. Now Esau learned that Isaac had blessed Jacob and had sent him to
Padan Aram.
take a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he commanded him, do not marry a Canaanite woman, and that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother and had gone to
Padan Aram.
Esau then realized how displeasing the Canaanite women were to his father Isaac. So he went to Ishmael, Isaac's brother. Okay, you got to go back and listen and read, find out more about that. But he went to his uncle Ishmael and married, how you say her name?
Mahalath?
Mahalath.
Yeah, Mahalath.
The sister of Nebaioth, the daughter of Ishmael, of Abraham, in addition to the wives he already had. So that was 3. Clock it. That's his third wife. And it was only after Esau found out about his parents being like, you can't marry one of these.
Yeah.
They can't.
I think this was a case of nescience on Esau's part when he took his first 2 wives. I don't even think he realized he was being disrespectful.
Yeah, well, their God wasn't his God,
Yeah.
which is also interesting because was it not instilled? Or did they just decide, like,
That's
it's
a very
not for
interesting
me?
to ponder on. Yeah, I don't know. Did they reject his God or did they just not know?
It wasn't emphasized all that
wasn't
much?
Emphasized?
But I think, like, that's also that power of, like, when you're a parent and you have the opportunity to plant seeds in your kids early.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about that a lot. Our parents did very well with that.
Mm-hmm.
And we may have detoured off the path for a little bit, went through the phases, did debauchery.
But the seeds
like,
were there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, huh.
And you can see that, like, Esau was still genuinely wanting to please his father.
Absolutely.
I think he's still, like, he wasn't mad at his dad for being finessed. I think he was really just on some, like, maybe I can get my spot back.
But also, you notice he said he then realized how displeasing the Canaanite women were to his father. They were displeasing to both, especially Mama.
He probably didn't care about his mama's opinion at all.
Man. And that's why she was
Your
like
daddy
that. Jacob cared about his mama's opinions. He listened to his mama's opinions. He kicked it in the tent with his mama all the time. Esau probably thought of his mama as less than. Meanwhile, she's finessing you, bro.
Yeah.
She's not on your side.
You look down and you overlooked your mother.
You did. He did.
You didn't see the enemy in front of you.
Man, even here. Even here.
Didn't see it.
That's deep.
Didn't realize your mom was running game on you.
And your daddy. She run it all.
Mom really holds the keys
She
right now.
ran it all.
Isaac had the blessing, but Rebecca was pulling strings, boy.
What?
Pulling them.
Dang.
And you know what's actually even crazier?
What?
Isaac is still on Team Dad. He went to his dad's brother. Jacob went to his mom's brother.
Right.
Jacob went to mom's side of the family.
Right.
Esau was like,
Where it was pure.
yeah, I'm going to dad's side of the family.
But was Ishmael pure?
Isaac and Ishmael was still blessed. Remember,
I know he was still
wasn't the
blessed, but
promised
was
son.
he pure? Was his people like pure?
Ishmaelites were still, I think they were still under Abraham's blessing because it was Abraham's child.
Okay. Very interesting.
Very interesting. But he tried to please his father by going to his family. He was like, okay, I need to marry somebody within the family line.
Poor thing. He just didn't really get it.
No,
He was playing too much checkers.
all bronze. No brains.
Damn.
I'm serious.
I know you are. And it shows in his
Yeah,
decisions.
like, brother, you can hunt a good game.
And women, clearly. Not
Yeah.
a problem. But
You're a man's man.
yeah, he is. Got finessed multiple times. Lacked wisdom.
Mind over matter.
All right, let's get into Jacob's dream. Let's keep this pushing and
All
pumping.
right, Jacob's dream, chapter 28, verse 10 to 22. Yeah, I put this in here. I really thought that at first we didn't have this in here, but I really think this plays a big part. It needs to be talked about.
Okay.
Jacob's dream, verse 10, chapter 28. Jacob left Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he came to a certain place and stayed there that night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, there was a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And in you and your offspring shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So early in the morning Jacob took the stone that he had put under his head and set it up for a pillar and poured oil on top of it. He called the name of the place Bethel, but the name of the city was Luz at the time. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, If God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God. And this stone, which I have set up for a pillar, shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will give a full tenth to you. So much to break down.
Bro.
So much to break down. First of all, this man just had one of the most epic visions of God.
Man.
Okay, you just saw a stairway to heaven
Of angels ascending and descending.
So he's watching the back end operation of the spirit realm.
That's crazy.
And then at the top of the stairwell, you see God, and he just says,
Oh, he'll bless you.
I'm the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, the God of Isaac,
Shut up, Josh. That's how God talks.
the land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offspring.
Stop it.
You'll be like the dust of the earth. But here's the one that kills me right here. For I will not leave you until I have done what I promised you. God don't break his promises.
He does not, but I also, that's an interesting caveat of like, but I will leave you eventually. That's the energy, ain't it? I never heard him say that to Abraham. Once we're done here, like once I've held up my end, then I'm out. But you can also see in that same context, Jacob's relationship with God is not like his grandfather Abraham.
Absolutely
It's the
not.
if-then towards God for me that I'm like, if he talked to you directly and you still said if
then conditional
God will be
statements.
with me,
Yes.
then
I also want to just bring attention to the fact that if you, again, were paying attention to previous episodes, Abraham had an encounter with the Lord. What did he do? He built an altar.
right.
Isaac had an encounter with the Lord. What did he do? He
Set
built
up
an
a
altar.
pillar. He set up a pillar.
No, Isaac.
Oh, sorry.
Abraham built altars.
Yes.
Isaac built altars.
Right.
It's their God. They're building altars.
Right.
Jacob has a dream. He pours oil
On a
a
pillar.
rock and makes a pillar. That's not an altar. Again, Jacob is still not team
He's half.
my God. He's half.
He's
in,
lukewarm,
half out. Yes.
bro. And what's in it for him?
You just caught a vision from God, and you're still on some like if
Right.
then.
Right.
The God of the universe just
Right.
presented himself to you, and you still on some if then. How deep does that finesse run in your blood, son?
Yeah.
It feels like it's now a part of your DNA at this
It
point. You know,
is.
if then God, but like again, you can sit back and judge
Yeah.
Jacob for
Yeah.
this dream
We
and
do
then
it.
still have if then.
We do it.
We do it.
We do it.
Have whole promises and visions from God. And he's like, I will bless you. I will keep you. All you must do is follow my commands. And then we'll be like, okay, well, if God is on my team,
Right.
if God blesses me, then
Right.
this is the same thing with prosperity. God, if you give me
Oh.
the money that I've been asking for,
The
I know
house,
I
the
can
car,
be,
the
I know I
job,
can be
the
fruitful.
spouse.
I know I can help you, God. Like all you gotta do is give me what I want, and I'll give you what you want. Very if then.
Creator?
Very if then.
Creation.
Know your place. Know your place. Jacob doesn't know his place yet.
Not at all. Not at all.
This comes
because he was privileged with so many blessings he didn't have to work for.
That's a part.
Think about it though.
Entitlement.
Yes. Like when you oftentimes like grow up with a silver spoon, you don't understand the work ethic that was put in by your ancestors or your grandparents or your parents to even put you in that position. You don't know what it means to hustle, to grind, to like work tooth and like bones.
Nah.
They had it very comfortable, especially him. He wouldn't even go outside. Abraham and Isaac did not have that luxury.
He was in the tents. Esau was out in the field.
He was at least outside. He
Out in
knew
the
what
field.
grit meant, like hunting. He finessed from the beginning. So
Yeah.
the entitlement makes sense.
He been a cheater since the start.
And gotten away with it.
And, cheating, you don't necessarily appreciate the things that you get. No. Later he works. We can get to that. But I also think this was very interesting. All that you give me, I will give you a full tenth. I believe that, this kind of set the tone. I know Abraham set the tone by giving a tenth to Melchizedek, but Jacob saying, I will give a tenth of everything that you gave to me is sort of like setting the tone centuries later for Israelites, because Jacob is an Israelite when he gets his name changed. But the Israelites giving a tenth of everything
tithe.
that they earned to put their trust in God. Like, God gave it to me, I'm giving a tenth back. Very if then, though. Very
I mean,
if
literally.
Yeah.
Then Jacob made a vow.
I don't know, man. A dream that intense, that's crazy.
I mean, I also think that it's important to point out, though, that God can speak to us through our dreams.
Absolutely.
We should not write them off so easily.
Absolutely.
That's something me and Joshua have been like a lot more focused on.
Yeah.
Wake up like, did you dream anything? And like, it's crazy because when you're in the dream, it feels so vivid and real. But then when you come back to reality,
It's like the
it's
veil
like,
got put back on.
yeah, it's like you forget the details and what happened.
Yeah. And I was telling wifey this morning, like, I feel as though my spirit is being revealed and privy to information that my flesh isn't ready for. And so, like, in my dream state, my spirit is being prepared for spiritual things. And then upon my waking, my spirit does the things in the background that the flesh likely due to either my pride or some kind of sin or something in the way, or maybe just God saying, like, your flesh isn't even ready for this. But that veil comes up again. The things that
Yeah.
God has for me in the carnal sense, he'll reveal over time, or he'll allow my spirit to perceive when I'm ready. Sort of like when you get your license, when you're ready and you're mature.
Yes.
Or when you finally, like, surrender. And I think something that happened for me is, like, I could potentially have a Jacob series in my life where, like, I want to obey, but I'm still on some if-then with God. He's like, okay, once we really get you
When you
there,
let it go for real.
when you let it go for
Right.
real, then I'll let the veil
When you
go
know
for
who I
real.
am, respect who I am,
When you
fear
know
who I am, tremble
fear-
at who I
yeah.
am,
And know whose you are.
and whose you are.
Know what property you are.
Right. You find out your place.
Yeah. When you finally see your bumper sticker,
Man.
your QR code that I purchased you. Made in heaven.
Bro. That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't judge these
You can't.
people, these characters.
You can't. We can
because
look down on Jacob all we
You
want
can
for
find
again.
yourself in them all.
Yeah.
Even Rebecca, ladies, let's not play. We know the power of the pee-pee. Okay?
We all know.
We've used it to our
I've lost
advantage.
many a Uno games for the sake of love.
Shut up, Joshua. I'm talking about deeper things than Uno right now.
Bigger than
You
Uno,
just gotta
but
be careful with the finesse spirit, though, is what I'm saying, right? Like we see in this generation a lot of, like, get my nails done, get my hair done, fly me out, take me to top 5 restaurants, all this stuff, all this stew.
I think, like, yeah, and I don't want to, like, demonize, like, your man taking care of you and stuff like that.
It's
but
not a matter. It don't be they man. That's what I'm trying to get at, babe. It don't be they man. It's the dating season. It's the courting.
It'd be a man.
It'd be a man.
Ah.
It'd be many men. Right? It's just,
Yeah.
if you're wanting, I would just say, if your intentions and your wants in life, right, are to eventually be a wife, to have a long-term partnership, companionship. And this goes for everybody. I'm not even just talking to my ladies anymore. Your intentions need to be evaluated. If you're prioritizing a lot of temporary gratification over things that hold more weight, longevity, that is I do feel like being married is a privilege, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
It's just something I just want to bring to light. I'm not even going to go deeper than that. But
Yeah. Just watch out for the stew, y'all.
watch out for the stew.
Judge yourself more than you judge others.
Yeah.
Get up out that judge seat. There's only one judge. He's standing at the gate, and he's waiting on all of us. Moving on, though. So we had Jacob's dream. I feel like that was very important because we're seeing the progression of Jacob in this whole storyline. And I think even in that section, Jacob still hasn't fully committed to God.
Yeah.
But now we're over here.
Chapter 32. We're skipping a couple chapters.
We're skipping some chapters.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Because it's tea, okay? Them
There's
two
some-
wives.
The two wives fall like right here in this little gap.
Yeah.
And we'll cover that gap next week. But
Go ahead if you would like, though.
I encourage it.
Definitely encourage that.
Definitely encourage it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to add to this. But yeah, for the sake of keeping things in order. Let's hop over to chapter 32, verse 1 through 21. You got it, baby.
Okay. Chapter 32, verse 1, Jacob prepares to meet Esau. So years have passed, by the way, you guys. Years, at least.
Decades.
I was going to say 2 decades, I think.
Yep, 20
Okay.
bands.
All right. So Jacob also went on his way, and the angels of God met him. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is the camp of God." So he named the place. How do you pronounce that? I'm not even going to try to butcher that.
Mahanaim.
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 Okay.
Mahanaim.
It means 2 camps.
Yeah.
Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau to the land of Seir. Or Seir.
Yeah, this is something.
Okay. The country of Edom. He instructed them, this is what you say to my lord Esau. Your servant Jacob says, I have been staying with Laban and have remained there till now. I have cattle and donkeys, sheep and goats, male and female servants. Now I am sending this message to my lord that I may find favor in your eyes.
Boop.
Yeah.
Pause right there.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out, Mahanaim means 2 camps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he just saw angels of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a very vague verse. There's not much context you can draw from that, whether they were actual angels or whether they were perceived angels with his spiritual eyes or lenses. We don't know, but what we do know is he saw 2 angels.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear that he saw the 2 angels because then he says, this is God's camp.
Mm-hmm.
But he calls the place 2 camps. Why did he call it 2 camps? Did he mean like God's camp and Jacob's camp? Again, there's still that disconnect. Still that disconnect that like it's him and God, not God of him.
My goodness. Good point out.
Yeah. Also,
He real kissy of that buttocks.
Oh,
my
yeah.
Lord.
my Lord.
My Lord.
My Lord. Brother, you were given the blessing. You are his Lord. Technically by blessing in default. But he knows how to step. Because he understands who his brother was.
Regardless of how he finessed up here, he was still that guy.
Yeah.
So,
Don't forget who your brother is.
shall I continue?
Yes, you shall.
Verse 6. When the messengers returned to Jacob, they said, we went to your brother Esau, and now he is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him.
Yikes. This sounds like Abraham when he had the 380, or it might have been 318.
When he went to save Lot,
Yeah.
but that was a rescue mission. This is, I'm pulling up. What's up? With 400 of mine. Okay. Verse 7. In great fear and distress, Jacob divided the people who were with him into 2 groups, and the flocks and herds and camels as well. He thought, if Esau comes and attacks one group, the group that is left may escape. Then Jacob prayed, O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, Lord, you who said to me, back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper. I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown your servant. Okay, at least he knew that. I had only my staff when I crossed this Jordan, but now I have become two camps. Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid he will come and attack me, and also the mothers with their children. But you have said, I will surely make you prosper and make your descendants like the sand of the sea, which cannot be counted. He spent the night there. From what he had with him, he selected a gift for his brother Esau. 200 female goats and 20 male goats. 200. What is that? What does yours say?
Yeah, I want to say eels, but iwis.
Iwis? Okay. And 20 rams. I'm guessing that's like the female version.
Yeah, I think it might be called ewes, but
All right. We got to look that one up.
yeah.
30 female camels with their young, 40 cows and 10 bulls, and 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. He had put them in the care of his servants, each herd by itself, and said to his servants, Go ahead of me and keep some space between the herds. He instructed the one in the lead, When my brother Esau meets you and asks, Who do you belong to? And where are you going? And who owns all these animals in front of you? Then you are to say, They belong to your servant, Jacob. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and he is coming behind us. He also instructed the second and the third and all the others who followed the herds. You are to say the same thing to Esau when you meet him. And be sure to say, Your servant Jacob is coming behind us. For he thought, I will pacify him with these gifts I am sending on ahead. Later, when I see him, perhaps he will receive me. So Jacob's gifts went ahead of him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. It's that he thought it was going to pacify for me.
Yeah. Mine says appease, but I actually love the way that yours said pacify.
Pacify,
Because that's
yeah.
way more accurate.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep you from crashing out on me. Because I already know you wanted to crash out on me 20 years ago.
Right.
I don't know if this energy has stewed and brewed or if you've cooled down.
He knows nothing. They ain't got text. They ain't got social media. They don't know what each other's been on.
He don't know what that beef looked like from across the field. Okay? He's trying to figure that out. But
And even here, when he was praying to God,
yeah.
so he still wasn't necessary. He knew he was unworthy of the kindness and the. But he it was still like.
Very interesting though. In Hebrew, this is the first time he addressed God as Yahweh. This is the first time he addressed him by his
Title,
kind of
authority.
nickname.
Oh, okay.
It's his special name, according to what the study Bible says. His special name, Yahweh. It's usually like God or Lord of God of Jacob or God of Abraham, but he said like Yahweh. So you can see the heart
Shifting a little, starting to shift.
slightly shifting. Not
I mean,
fully
he was
there
looking
yet.
out for him.
Yeah, but also you can still see a lack of faith here because God said, I will protect you, and yet he still is taking the precautions to protect himself.
So many precautions.
I'm going to divide into two camps. I'm going to make sure we got everything's all
Yeah.
good. Put one wife over here, one wife over there.
I was wondering, what was his servants thinking? Like, you used to him being king on top, like he bows down to nobody, and you want us to tell him you're his servant? You want us to give him how many of what?
Like my dog. I thought you had the blessing.
Right.
Ain't this what you earned?
And the cower is so interesting now that Mama Rebecca is in his ear.
Oh, yeah. You can tell he actively knew of his guilt.
Right. It shows. Right.
You know you guilty. Like his own
wrong.
transgressions are eating him alive right now. It's his own fears that are playing a part right now. Just because Esau's got his 400 men, all his fears are creeping in. These are all intrusive thoughts. My brother's finna whoop my behind. He got 400 men to kill me.
You know what's interesting that just made me think, though? What if that time he spent with his uncle Laban, the wisdom that was gained and experiencing in form of finesse even, is what like opened his conscience to how he was wrong.
That's definitely something to ponder on. It's hard to chew with them because they haven't
Yes,
seen that
you have
part.
to read that part, but
You'd have to read that part. But that is also, he did get a taste of his own medicine.
just a little.
Somewhere in here, y'all will read if you read in between, but in here, he got a taste of his own medicine. He got a taste of what finesse feels like. So it could have opened his eyes to like what that, like
He'd
the
never
anger
been
that kinda-
finessed before.
Yeah.
Interesting, right? Okay. Let's
Very
get into this WWG.
WWG, WrestleMania.
Oh my goodness.
Verse 22. We're still in chapter 32, verse 32. Let's get to it. The same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream and everything else that he had, and Jacob was left alone. And a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, "Let me go, for the day has broken." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And he said to him, "What is your name?" He said, "Jacob." Then he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed."
For you have what?
Striven.
Oh, mine says struggled with God. Okay.
Then Jacob asked him, "Please tell me your name." But he asked, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And there he blessed him. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, saying, "For I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered." The sun rose upon him as he passed Penuel, limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the people of Israel do not eat the sinew of the thigh that is on the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip on the sinew of the thigh.
The sinew is a tendon.
Yeah.
Mine just is a tendon.
There's a lot of
There's a lot there.
this is a lot to unpack. Got to chew on it for a second, but some things to point out. Twins.
Yes.
They're twins.
Yeah.
He got that.
Yeah.
Like, as much as he wasn't in the field,
Right.
genetically speaking, Jacob, he's fit enough to wrestle with God.
Right. And God, like, all right.
God didn't tap out. He tapped him.
You didn't. I mean, he said, let's stop. He said, let's stop. Let me go, for it's daybreak.
Yeah. He was like, let
He
me
said,
go.
I won't let you go.
Yeah, he was like, we had a good time. Relax.
Okay.
The Lord didn't lose. As a matter of fact, he was like, bet.
Yeah.
Pow! Let me show you what I'm really capable of. It was fun playing with you,
Oh.
but let me show you that I could just tap you and take you down right
Okay,
now.
I got it.
And snatch the life that I gave to you right out your breath. But we had our fun. We wrestled. You wrestled with God. You got it off. Congratulations. But I think it's very intense that, like, even after getting crippled, Jacob is like, I ain't letting go until you bless me. I didn't get
That's a
crippled
big
for
dude.
nothing.
That's a big dude.
This is so symbolic in so many ways, because how often do we struggle with God, and it only comes to the point where God has to tap our hip and cripple us for us to realize who it is that we're serving or who it is that we're wrestling with.
Right.
Like, we wrestle with so many things in this life.
Yeah.
But like, you're wrestling with it because you're ultimately wrestling with God's plan for your life. And God's letting you wrestle, but at some point, he's going to be like, it's time to stop. Tap that hip, cripple you. And then now you have to walk with a limp, but that limp's going to remind you who's dad.
Who's your daddy?
Who's your dad? And also, this is a foreshadowing because Jacob's name is Israel. So now that opens up the can of worms of like, this is where Israel comes from.
The people,
But
bro.
the people of Israel struggle with God, but
All the
ultimately
time.
God prevails.
All the time.
Yeah.
Kept his promise.
Kept his promise. You struggle with God and with man, but God prevailed. Well, he prevailed, but God ultimately prevailed.
Yeah.
God always prevails.
Even the fact that he knew, like, I didn't lose my life. I met him face to face.
Yeah.
Because most people don't live to talk about that.
Yeah. Now, that's actually a very interesting point that you pointed that out, because in where is it? Peniel does mean the face of God, and Jacob's encountered does fill him with awe. But when we later see in Moses in Exodus 33:20, God says, you can't see my face. No man can see my face and live. So like we have to like kind of assess like what face did he see? He wrestled with a man. So clearly this is some kind of physical being, not the Almighty God face to face. But he's like, I wrestled with God face to face.
It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared.
Yeah, as in like I saw God in the form of man face to face. But seeing God in the form, according to God's word, seeing God in all his glory, no man has seen that. Wouldn't even give it to Moses. He said, I have to pass through you and you can see the back of my head.
But Moses led the people of Israel. He's saying that Jacob is Israel.
Yeah. I mean, it's
a little different. Moses played a vital role.
Up for debate. But again, when God says no one can see my glory and survive, I'm going to take that as no one can see him in his full glory and survive.
Well, he said he spared his life. Like he knew that.
Yeah, but like this kind of wrestle, first of all, you're not wrestling with the Almighty God. Okay, you're not doing that. This was a physical form of God. So God came down sort of like when he approached probably Abraham, and Abraham could look upon him and sit down and ask.
And that was the Lord.
Yes.
Jesus.
That was Jesus. Jesus came with
two
other angels.
So you think this is Jesus?
Yes.
Okay.
Because here's the crazy part. When he says, why is it that you ask my name? As if to say, you don't recognize my voice? You don't recognize me? Why are you asking me my name like you don't know who I am?
He wanted confirmation, but he's like, why don't you trust?
Why don't you trust you know who you talking to?
Interesting.
I just changed your name from Jacob to Israel.
Right, who do you think I am?
Who do you think I am? I just
facts.
touched your hip socket.
Big facts.
And dislocated it.
Big facts.
I allowed you to wrestle with me. And even as he said he blessed him, he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with man and have prevailed. You don't know who I am? A sheep recognizes his master's voice.
Ooh, interesting.
You just had the whole stairway to heaven vision, my dog. You should know my voice by now. You should know my character. I've given you blessings. I've given you promises.
Still doubt.
You still wrestle with me. You wrestle with the idea that I'm your God. But I will prevail. And you will have to limp this one out.
Wow.
But hopefully you learn your lesson. I don't want to have to injure you
He'll
anymore.
never forget.
You'll never forget because you can't walk right. But look, God enters your life. He changes your walk.
Ooh, you better spit.
Change the way I walk. Change my path. Now, after this WrestleMania, watch how he talks to God.
Let's see.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Let's finish it off.
Finish it off, brotherly
finish it
love.
Off. Brotherly love.
Chapter 33, verse 1. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau, coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the 2 female servants. Catch it. I'm telling you, you better tune in next week. It's tea. He put the female servants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. Keep in mind, all his family, all of them. Okay. He himself went on ahead and bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother.
My man's is doing tricks on it. My gosh.
Verse 4. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his brother's neck and kissed him, and they wept. Then Esau looked up and saw the women and children. Who are these with you? He asked. Jacob answered, they are the children God has graciously given your servant. Then the female servants and their children approached and bowed down. Next, Leah and her children came and bowed down. Last of all came Joseph and Rachel and they too bowed down. Esau asked, "What's the meaning of all these flocks and herds I met?" "To find favor in your eyes, my lord," he said. But Esau said, "I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." He was being blessed. Okay, them 20 years, we don't really know what was going on with Esau, but clearly he's been well taken care of. "No, please," as said Jacob. "If I have found favor in your eyes, accept this gift from me." For to see your face is like seeing the face of God, now that you have received me favorably. Please accept the present that was brought to you, for God has been gracious to me, and I have all I need. And because Jacob insisted, Esau accepted. Then Esau said, "Let us be on our way. I'll accompany you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are tender, and that I must care for the ewes and cows that are nursing their young. If they are driven hard just one day, all the animals will die. So let my Lord go on ahead of his servant, while I move along slowly at the pace of the flocks and herds before me, and the pace of the children, until I come to my Lord in Seir." Esau said, "Then let me leave some of my men with you." "But why do that?" Jacob asked. "Just let me find favor in the eyes of my Lord." So that day Esau started on his way back to Seir. Sorry, I'm kind of mixing it up. Jacob, however, went to
Sukkot.
Where he built a place for himself and made shelters for his livestock. That is why the place is called
Sukkot.
It says it means shelters. After Jacob came from
Padanaram.
he arrived safely at the city of Shechem in Canaan and camped within sight of the city. For 100 pieces of silver, he bought from the sons of Hamar,
Yeah, Hammer.
the father of Shechem, the plot of ground where he pitched his tent. There he set up an altar and called it El Elio Israel.
El Elohe Israel.
El Elohe? Okay.
El Elohe Israel. You know what that means? God. The God of Israel.
He built the altar with no pillar with no oil poured on it.
Wasn't no pillar. It was an altar. And he called it the God of Israel.
Right.
He has officially become his God. They had to cripple him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But he has become his God. That struggle, yeah. It's a beautiful, honestly, I feel like this is probably one of the most beautiful endings that we'll see here in Genesis.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's really not even an ending.
It's not.
This is a pause.
It is a pause.
In the
because
story.
the Israelites and the Edomites definitely.
Things get spicy.
You keep going down in the word, you'll see the Edomites and the Israelites don't always see eye to eye.
Clearly.
Two nations.
Okay.
But
There was a lot there.
there is a lot to unpack there. For one, Jacob was really stroking it.
Bro.
Like, brother,
Clinging.
how many times? How many times? All right, we get it. Okay, you're humble. We get it. You're lowly. You know.
You're sorry. I mean, although, did it ever come out his mouth that he is sorry? This reminds me, you know what this reminds me of? Those people that don't say it, but they'll do all their actions like show it, like,
Yeah.
oh, they feel bad. But just say it. Say you're sorry.
It'd be easier to just apologize.
Take
and
accountability.
ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, right? Instead of, no, take this. Let me find favor.
Take these things. Take these things that I've already stolen from you. Take the things I stole
Pacify.
from you.
Man, right? Literally. Oh my God.
Take back your
These would have been
stolen-
yours.
These all would have been yours, but please
Take it. Some of them.
take them. If
some
you
of them.
accept me,
He insisted.
Yeah.
And like even that was manipulative,
yeah.
right? It's like no, because it's almost like he was trying to make him take this like oath,
Peace offering.
right? Of like, if you accept this, this means I'm good though with you.
You've accepted me.
You're
If
not
you
gonna
accept this,
right. But he's still scary.
please take it.
Pitch tents away. Never came. Did he ever come back?
You could see he kept his distance.
For sure.
He was like, "I love you, but
I don't
a
trust
player
you.
knows the game.
Right.
I don't need none of your peoples knowing where I'm going.
That was-
Matter of fact, you go on ahead. I'll catch up."
Wow.
He was still finessing. In the back of his head, he's still on
'Cause he's
self-preservation.
deceitful.
Yeah. He's like, "Nah, I know what I did."
You couldn't have forgotten.
Yeah, you couldn't have forgotten. You may have forgiven me, but with time, maybe if you see me long enough, you start to
Right.
remember what I did.
The thorn will come.
Yeah, the thorn comes back, and it's just not destined for us to kick it like that.
But it was interesting. They wept together. He embraced him.
Yeah.
Like he ran to him.
Yeah, you can tell that God really worked on his heart, and that was beautiful.
He wanted to off him.
Boy,
He wanted to off
off
him.
Pacing around his room. I can't wait till I get my hands on this boy. Yo, watch how I hunt him like the game out in the field, boy. I know how to work the arrow. I know how to work the arrow. I hit him from 100 yards away.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Make it look like a hunting accident.
And he's like, "Who are these people with you?"
Yeah, he was real
Who are they
curious.
over there?
Oh, that's your family?
Very
Like, hey, don't examine them too hard. Be cool. Be cool. I could just see like the passive aggressiveness of like, "Oh, you got a family,
Right,
yo?
right. It's
These
like,
all your
is he
kids?
really-
Hey, squad, this they kids.
He got family over
We
here.
got family."
Yikes.
Like,
Yikes.
chill. Bow, all y'all, bow your heads,
Bro.
Trying to get them right.
Bruh. He's talking about the animals will die in a day. Stop it, Jacob. He hunts game for a living. He knows that's not true.
My man knows the game. He's still like, "All right, whatever, dog. We going on.
I'll pull up. I'll see you later.
We'll talk." But that's actually like, yeah,
Maybe he started to learn how to play chess.
yeah.
Esau.
Hey, yeah, maybe he picked up game after a while.
Yeah.
Them otherwise put him on like, nah, don't just go out there attacking. Again, he's probably got the Lord's favor on him. So if you attack him straight up, the Lord could come after you.
That's interesting because was Esau's family with him? Probably not.
No.
He didn't mention the wives and his kids.
Yeah. But
Just
also,
this 400 men.
yeah. Esau probably was remembrance of Isaac's blessing on Jacob that said, "Cursed be anyone who curses you, blessed be anyone who blesses you." So he's like, I got to play this smart. Gots to play it smart.
Him insisting was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he said, "I have plenty." He said, "I have plenty."
We have plenty. Nope. Be careful.
Very
Be
interesting.
careful. But that was kind of like a peace treaty. He was like, accept it, and that's peace.
Yeah.
Between me and you, at least.
Right. Or so he thought.
So he thought, yeah.
For his
Again.
own comfortability. It was
We'll
all
see
about
more
him.
of this story play out. And honestly, I feel like next week you guys are going to get like a missing piece somewhere in the midst of this
Yeah.
to kind of get like a perspective into like Jacob's personal life. We didn't really cover much of that in this one, but next week we will. Him and his wives and his servants, kids, and his...
Tea.
And they actually play a huge role in the
What happens
the
next?
stories after this.
Man.
Yeah, his family is...
Yeah.
It's the Brady Bunch, for real, for real. Ghetto Brady Bunch. But anyways, that's all we have for this video. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment section. Let us know if you guys had any tangent revelations along the way. Would love to hear those in the comment section. Or again, on the free side of our Patreon channel where we have an open discussion about a lot of these stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a little bit longer. Thank you guys for all of you who made it all the way to the end. Been getting some really good feedback for those who are like really like plugging in day by day. Yeah. We're going to try and churn away as many of these as possible. The stories are starting to get a little jumbled, which is why you see us kind of jumping from chapter to chapter. But we're going to keep pushing through. The Lord's going to provide a will and a way. So, yeah, that's all we got. You got anything else?
That is all.
That is all. So if you don't already know, I'm Josh. She's EC. The Lord is great. If you haven't considered giving your life to Jesus, Let this be your sign that he's calling you. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't necessarily call you to a religious spirit. It's not about what you wear. It's not about the outside of the cup. That's icing on the cake. He's more so worried about the inside of your heart. Mm-hmm. Where's your heart at? Mm-hmm. And if you give it a shot, I promise you it'll be the best decision you ever made, and you'll radically change and transform your life. I'm a personal witness.
And
she
I
is
am
a
too.
personal witness.
Yep.
We are personal witnesses. This whole channel is a personal witness as to the transforming power of what a relationship with Jesus will do for your life.
Amen.
He provides. These ain't just bedtime stories.
No.
These are real stories being played out for you to show you who Jesus truly is. Mm-hmm. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob is calling you.
Catch it.
Catch it.
Until next time, guys.
Until next time, y'all. Peace, love, hat grease, and we out.